How's it going, guys? So yeah, Oleksandr Usyk just defeated Chazz Witherspoon. Just got done watching the fight a couple of minutes ago, man. Obviously, we knew going into this fight that Chazz Witherspoon was a replacement opponent. He's a guy who's been around a long time. We weren't really expecting much resistance from him, but as far as replacement opponents go, I really do think Usyk could have done worse. I mean, Witherspoon is a big puncher. He's had a lot of knockouts in his career. I remember seeing Chazz Witherspoon years ago. I think the first time I watched him fight, it was when he fought Seth Mitchell, and I remember he hurt Seth Mitchell quite badly in that fight. But then in the next round, went on to get knocked out, and yeah, that was the first time I saw him, and I've heard his name here and there since that fight, but he hasn't really fought at world level or. He's pretty much been a domestic level American fighter. He's a big puncher, a lot of knockouts, decent amateur background, but hasn't really excelled in the pros. But I think as far as replacement opponents go, I definitely think Usyk could have done a lot worse. I really do. So yeah, I thought it was a pretty decent opponent to pick on short notice. Thought it was a very good performance from Usyk. He completely deconstructed Chazz Witherspoon from the very first round. He had Chazz Witherspoon backing up. Chazz Witherspoon was hanging around on the outside just trying to set up a counter, trying to land a big shot on Usyk. I think he understood he couldn't outbox Usyk, he couldn't outslick him. He had to just draw a lead from Usyk and he had to land a big haymaker on Usyk from the outside. Usyk just chipping away with that jab, setting up the jab with the feint and then throwing that little straight left to the body and then a jab behind it, a bit of a screw shot. He was just chipping and chipping and boxing and just keeping Chazz Witherspoon on the outside and just slowly but surely breaking him down. And I thought technically it was an excellent deconstruction from Oleksandr Usyk. And I tell you one thing that impressed me, and I was looking to see how his footwork and his stamina would be. And I'm glad this fight went to the seventh round because I was really looking for how that would look at heavyweight because obviously he's been out of the ring for a year, and his last fight was at cruiserweight against Tony Bellew. I was looking to see how Usyk's feet and his stamina going to the later rounds would look, and I've got to be honest, this guy, I haven't seen any regression from him. In fact, if anything, I think he looks a little bit more fleet-footed in this fight than he has in the past. And I tell you one thing, that footwork and that speed is going to be a problem for a lot of these big heavyweights. Okay, a lot of these guys, these big clunky guys, these flat-footed plodders are going to struggle with Usyk. Obviously, his power isn't as great as some of these guys. I mean, Chazz Witherspoon was knocked out by Seth Mitchell, who was quite a big puncher but not a great fighter, had a glass chin. Usyk has a great chin, but he's not a heavyweight puncher. Okay, he's not going to be a knockout artist at heavyweight, but his speed and his stamina and his accuracy and his footwork, his movement and his skills and his excellent defense is going to be a major issue in this division. I'd like to see him fight some tall guys next. Like I said before, I'd like to see him fight the likes of David Price or Alexander Ustinov or Alexander Dimitrenko or Adrian Granat or Marius Vac. These taller heavyweights with power and good chins, and some of them like Marius Vac, for example, very good chins. But guys who have a height and reach advantage on him. I want to see how Usyk looks at this stage of his career. I want to see how he looks against tall heavyweights. But based on what I saw tonight, it's going to be a problem. He's going to be a problem for anybody in the division, and I hope that they can get him before sticking him in with the likes of a Wilder or Fury or a Joshua or even a Ruiz. I'd like to see him fight some, European level heavyweights, but guys who are bigger. I wouldn't even mind seeing him fight Manuel Charr. I mean, if they can get that fight, if Manuel Charr still has a belt, Usyk could win the belt and then be, in the position to negotiate with those guys as a champion. Usyk was just in this fight. He was hedging forward and just chipping away with that jab, and he had his guard up because he was wary of the power, and he was just slowly but surely breaking him down. And I think that type of style would be very effective against the likes of Deontay Wilder or Anthony Joshua. I really do. So I would like to see him fight those guys, but I just want to see how he deals with the reach advantage and the power from distance. So let's see where he goes from here. As for Dimitri Bivol, Dimitri Bivol was on the undercard. He had a good win against Castiello. He had an opponent in front of him who didn't really come to fight. He was there to just hang on the outside and, survive and maybe look for a big shot from distance. Bivol completely schooled him and won every round and scored a knockdown in the sixth. Almost had him out of there. And I felt that if he'd have pressed the issue and worked the body, after that point, he could have stopped that guy by the seventh or eighth round. But Bivol was just content to win on points, and it is what it is. It was a good performance. I didn't give the other guy a single round, so good win for Dimitri Bivol. Maybe he could fight the winner of Vozick Beterbiev. That'd be a really great fight, good unification. Yeah, good night of boxing, man. Good for the sport. Let me know what you guys think anyway, and thanks for watching. And yeah, I can't really think of what else to talk about, so yeah, God bless, guys. Good night.